Chapter 11. After the charming concubine became pregnant, the emperor doted on him every night. 11. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Prime Minister, since Yun Yuren's a no-show, the prince left. He made it clear in front of everyone that Prince Wenxuan wouldn't marry a scandalous woman into the family as a concubine. You owe him an explanation tomorrow. Having achieved his goal, Xiao Ziheng saw no need to stick around. Yes, I'll give the prince a satisfactory explanation tomorrow. After Xiao Ziheng departed, Yun Qian ordered about a dozen soldiers, spread out and search within 100 miles. Report any sign of her immediately. Yes, sir. That the soldiers fanned out, Yun Qian and Yun Weining returned to the Prime Minister's mansion ahead of the search party. By nightfall, the soldiers hadn't found a trace of Yun Yuran. They dismissed the idea of her going near the river, which is why they missed her trail. Unbeknownst to them, Yun Yuran and Xiao Zhinye were on the riverbank, lost in their passions. The soldiers returned to the Prime Minister's mansion and reported their failure to Yun Qian, who angrily smashed his teacup on the ground. Lin Qianru rushed to his side, saying, Master, calm down. Worrying yourself sick won't help. This was Yuren's first time out alone. She's so pretty, it's no wonder someone targeted her. I blame myself for not sending more guards with her. Yun Qian, hearing her words of guilt, patted her hand and said in a calmer tone, Madam, it's not your fault. Who could have predicted this? It's that rebellious girl's fault. I've spoiled her. I need to burn some incense. Yun Weining chimed in, Dad, it's all my fault. If I hadn't asked my older sister to come with me, she wouldn't have been kidnapped. It's all my fault. Her voice was soft and sweet, her eyes red and filled with tears. Yun Yuran would have given her an Oscar for the performance. What a manipulative drama queen. Don't blame yourself. You go out all the time, and nothing ever happens. She gets kidnapped the first time out. It's her fault, not yours. You don't need to feel guilty. Thank you, Dad, for trusting me. Her voice trembled slightly. Madam, take Weining to rest. She's been through a lot today. Yes, I will. Lin Qianru led Yun Weining toward the backyard, asking for details about the day's events. You said she escaped? Lin Qianru asked, surprised. Yes, she's incredibly lucky. I arranged for 5 strong beggars to wait in the old temple, ready for Prince Zhao's men to deliver her, but something went wrong. When we got there, the beggars were gone, and Yun Yuran was nowhere to be found. No one knows where she went. Wow, she's really fortunate. We planned so carefully, and she still escaped. We underestimated her. Mom, it's not a total loss. At least her reputation's ruined now. How can a woman with such a bad name ever marry Prince Wenxuan? Eventually, Prince Xiao will be mine. Once I become the crown princess, I'll soon be the queen of Daqi Kingdom. Lin Qianru looked at Yun Weining with love, smiling, my Inger is amazing. That little troublemaker is no match for you. Mom, tonight, try to talk Dad into canceling the engagement and giving Prince Xiao to me. Okay, I'll give it a shot. Thank you, Mom. You're the best. Yun Weining was overjoyed. You're my daughter. If I don't look out for you, who will? Mom, where's my brother? Yun Weining asked Lin Qianru. Don't even mention that pain in the butt. I don't know where he and his friends are running off to every day. Mom, you need to keep an eye on him. With his temper, he might offend the wrong people. Our Prime Minister's office isn't afraid, but with his sister about to marry into the royal family, we should ask him to behave himself. Okay, when he gets back, I'll give him a good scolding and tell him to stay out of trouble. That evening, Lin Qianru suggested to Yun Qian that he change the engagement. Yun Qian thought it was a good idea and agreed. After falling asleep, Lin Qianru had a sweet dream where Yun Weining became queen. She was so happy she could jump for joy. Yun Weining had a similar dream. She looked down at Yun Yuran kneeling before her, along with all the people she hated, all kneeling at her feet. She was so excited she woke up, thinking about the scene. She couldn't sleep the rest of the night. early the next morning, Yun Qian took the day off from court. Like the day before, he sat in the lobby, waiting for news about Yun Yuran. The guards reported that they still couldn't find her, which made him so angry he nearly threw up blood. He tossed the teacup and cursed, rebellious woman, that she was ruining his reputation. If he'd known, he should have strangled her at birth to prevent this. Lin Qianru patted his chest to calm him. Calm down. The most important thing now is to deal with Prince Zhao's engagement to Yuran. Yun Qian calmed down and said, Prince Wenshuan's palace just informed us that Prince and Princess Wenshuan will be visiting soon to discuss the matter. Go tell Weining to dress nicely and behave herself. Don't mess this up. Understood, master. Lin Qianru walked with a lighter step, happy that her daughter was finally getting her wish. Back in the backyard, Lin Qianru excitedly urged, hurry, Weining, get dressed. Prince and Princess Wenshuan will be here soon. Really? Yun Weining nearly jumped for joy. Lin Qianru quickly told her to calm down and ordered the maid, Huan Ping, help your mistress get dressed. Pick something bright, lively, and elegant. Huan Ping was happy to oblige. She bowed and said, yes, madam. Use this hairpin. It looks dignified and elegant. This rouge is good. Apply it to make you look more charming. Use this lipstick to add some color. After Lin Qianru's instructions, Yun Weining was finally dressed in a flurry. Looking at her dignified and graceful daughter in the mirror, Lin Qianru said, my daughter is so beautiful. She deserves to be Lin Qianru's precious daughter. No one can compare to you. You and Prince Xiao are a match made in heaven. Yun Weining said shyly with a smile, Mom, don't talk nonsense. We haven't even had our horoscopes read yet. Chapter 12. After the charming concubine became pregnant, the emperor doted on him every night. 12. You are listening at novelfull.audio. By the time Yun Yuran and the emperor headed back, she figured the prime minister's mansion would have wrapped up her broken engagement. Okay, let's go back. She said, her eyes shining. Ran, I'm sorry about all this, Xiao Xinye said, taking her hand and holding it tight. Don't sweat it. Are you sure you want to come back with me? Have you thought this through? There was a mix of hope and fear in her eyes, as if she both wanted him to agree and was terrified he would. I have. If you're not scared, why should I be? He'd already ruined his reputation as an heir. What did he have to lose? Besides, you're only engaged. You're not married yet. Thanks, Yi. Yun Yuran was touched. She wanted to give him the heir he'd always wanted. No need to thank me. I'm doing this because I want to. He gently stroked her hair. Yi, I want to have your baby. From now on, we can be a family of 3, living happily ever after. Xiao Xinye's expression clouded over at the mention of heirs, but Yun Yuran was so enthusiastic she didn't notice. He tried not to dwell on the fact that he was childless. He didn't want to give up his country. He'd worked hard to bring peace and prosperity to the land. Okay, he said weakly, not meeting her eye, trying not to dampen her spirits. Yi, don't you believe me? Yun Yuran noticed something was wrong. I believe you. I'll believe anything you say. Forget it, he thought. She's too young to crush her dreams just yet. Let her have a little hope for a few more days. She'll find out the truth soon enough. The reason Yun Yuran was so sure was because when she and Xiao Xinye were hiding out in the woods, she'd spent 100 points on a fertility pill. She'd swallowed it when the emperor wasn't looking. She was sure she'd have good news within a month and couldn't wait to see the look on his face. System, are there any pills in the store that can make a kid look like his father? She asked, worried about future questions. Host, you don't need extra pills. The fertility pills produced by the system already do that. Boys will look like their fathers, and girls will look like their mothers. Just swallow it. That's good, one less thing to worry about. Yun Yuran breathed a sigh of relief. She definitely didn't want her kid being called a bastard. Luda. Xiao Xinye called out, Luda, who was waiting outside, immediately opened the door and entered. "Your Majesty, I'm here. What can I do for you?" Lu De bowed slightly. "Tell Jiang Yu to pack up immediately. We're going back down the mountain. I want to go with Ran to the Prime Minister's mansion." "Your Majesty, no." Lu De was shocked. He didn't expect the Emperor to go to the Prime Minister's mansion. Jiang Yu had told him that she was Prince Xiao Ziheng's fiancée, going back with his future niece-in-law. He'd be eaten alive. Xiao Zhenye was firm. "Why not? If she's not afraid, why should I be?" That there was no room for argument. "Your Majesty." Lu De started to protest. "Get out," Xiao Zhenye snapped, refusing to look at him. Lu De had no choice but to leave, shaking his head. He didn't know if this woman was a blessing or a curse for the Emperor. After packing, the group left Qingde Temple in a grand procession, heading towards the Prime Minister's mansion. Xiao Zhenye, concerned for Yun Yuren's health, ordered them to travel slowly. Meanwhile, back at the Prime Minister's mansion, Yun Qian was practically tripping over himself to welcome King Wenxuan and Princess Wenxuan. Passers-by pointed and whispered. "Looks like the engagement is off." "Duh. Who would let a woman with a reputation like that into the family?" "Exactly. Even regular people wouldn't marry someone like that." "Shoo. Keep your voice down, or you'll get in trouble." "That's right, be careful what you say about the royal family." The people quickly shrank back into the crowd, eager to see what would happen. Yun Qian smiled obsequiously. "Your Highnesses, please." King Wenxuan remained silent. The princess glared at the Prime Minister and followed the king inside. The guards pushed the onlookers away. "Move along, move along." The crowd scattered, eager to catch any gossip they could. The guards closed the doors of the Prime Minister's mansion. King Wenxuan and Princess Wenxuan sat down in the main hall. Lin Qianru and Yun Weining arrived late. "We're so sorry, Your Highnesses. Please forgive us." Weining and I were in the kitchen, making arrangements, Lin Qianru said. Yun Weining bowed gracefully. "Your Highnesses, forgive my tardiness." She seemed pure, virtuous, and sensible. "We pay our respects to the prince and princess," Lin Qianru echoed. King Wenxuan remained silent. Princess Wenxuan, trying to be gracious, asked them to rise with a smile. "Please, make yourselves comfortable." Her voice was sweet and light. "Thank you, Your Highnesses," Yun Weining and Lin Qianru said together. "Butler, serve tea," Lin Qianru ordered. Maids entered the hall, carrying tea and cups in an orderly fashion. The fragrance of tea filled the air. Yun Qian said, smiling, "Your Highnesses, please have some tea." King Wenxuan and Princess Wenxuan took a sip, acknowledging the Prime Minister's hospitality. Putting down his cup, King Wenxuan got straight to the point. "Prime Minister, you know why we're here. Let's be clear, we won't allow a woman with such a bad reputation into the royal family." Princess Wenxuan smiled sweetly. "His Majesty is right. I arranged this engagement, but I did it for an innocent girl. Now, with what's happened to Yuran, even if I wanted to, I couldn't. This is the royal family, and I can't be biased." Yun Weining could barely contain her joy. Lin Qianru glanced at her, and Yun Weining quickly composed herself, trying to look appropriately demure. Chapter 13. After the charming concubine became pregnant, the emperor doted on him every night. 13. You are listening at novelfull.audio. "Look, Princess, I know my daughter messed up, but we still haven't found that rebellious girl." King Wenxuan cut him off. "Prime Minister, enough. I've called off the engagement. Nothing more to say." "Yes, Prime Minister," said the princess. "As much as I like Yuran, the royal family comes first. The prince and I have to end this. If Ziheng marries a woman with these kinds of rumors swirling around, it'll be a scandal. We'd be buried under a mountain of gossip, and how could we face our ancestors?" Lin Qianru smiled. Princess, while it's true this mess comes from our side, canceling the wedding like this might make people think the prince is unfair or, even worse, that the princess is ungrateful." Hearing that, Prince Wenshuan slammed his hand on the table, his eyes blazing. Who would dare question Prince Wenshuan's decisions? That his rage was like a lion's roar. In all of Daki, Xiao Zhenye was the only one he remotely cared about. Even his stepson was the queen mother and emperor's first choice. When his son gets adopted and becomes the crown prince, let's see who'll dare question him. Yun Qian looked heartbroken, pretending to feel bad for Xiao Ziheng. Your Highness, this is especially awful with the adoption ceremony so close. If the prince stumbles now, some might claim he's unworthy or that he broke his promise. King Wenshuan frowned, considering this. Yun Qian had a point. With the adoption hanging in the balance, his son couldn't afford a mistake. If word got out that they'd broken off the engagement, the vultures in the government might think Prince Wenshuan's family was unreliable and ungrateful, which could jeopardize the adoption. Even though it was the woman's fault, calling off the engagement before she was even found would lead to some negative press, Lin Qianru chimed in. Even if you cancel it, every time people see the prince, they'll remember he was once engaged to a woman kidnapped by bandits. They'll whisper behind their hands, making jokes. Your Highness, for the sake of both families, let's announce that Weining, not Yuran, is the one engaged to Prince Xiao. It saves face for everyone involved and stops the snickering at the prince's expense. Yun Weining sobbed softly. Mom, that's not fair to my sister. Weining, you're too kind. She bullied you because of her engagement to Prince Xiao, and now you're sticking up for her. I'm just thinking about the prince's reputation. If you're engaged, nobody will say Prince Xiao is engaged to a woman kidnapped by bandits. Mother, Yun Weining said, her eyes red and brimming with tears. She looked pitiful, concerned for her sister but unsure what to do. Princess Wenshuan heard Lin Qianru and pictured people snickering behind her son's back. She was furious. Xiao Ziheng was her darling, and she couldn't stand the thought of him suffering any humiliation. Now, with the chance to become the crown prince, she couldn't let her son have any scandal. She wanted her son to be seen as spotless. Princess Wenshuan looked at King Wenshuan. Your Majesty. King Wenshuan gazed at Yun Weining, who was still quietly crying. She was beautiful, refined, dignified, and generous. Plus, she had a good temperament and was the Prime Minister's legitimate daughter. With a reasonable woman in his son's corner, the palace will be calm. In the future, when the son becomes the prince, he will be able to gain a foothold faster with the help of the Prime Minister. Before his son becomes emperor, anything can happen. With the Prime Minister's backing, his son would have a better chance of becoming the emperor of Daki. King Wenshuan nodded, signaling that they should go along with Lin Qianru's suggestion and switch the engagement from Yun Yuran to Yun Weining. The moment Yun Weining saw the king nod, she nearly fainted from surprise. She quickly lowered her head, afraid she couldn't hide her excitement. Just then, Xiao Ziheng walked into the Prime Minister's mansion, flanked by 2 guards, and went straight to the main hall. Seeing Xiao Ziheng, Yun Weining's face flushed. She quickly looked down, too shy to meet his gaze. Xiao Ziheng greeted King Wenshuan and Princess Wenshuan with a smile. Father, Your Highness, Mother. Ziheng, come, sit, Princess Wenshuan said, her face beaming with affection. Xiao Ziheng sat, and King Wenshuan looked at his son. Ziheng, I've decided to change your engagement to Miss Yunair. Xiao Ziheng looked surprised and confused. Father. King Wenshuan knew his son didn't like Yun Yuran, so he explained gently, Ziheng, I'm doing this for your reputation. If we don't change it, it'll hurt you. No matter how high you rise, people will remember you were once engaged to a woman who was kidnapped. The thought of rising through the ranks only to be laughed at enraged Xiao Ziheng. He wanted to tear the bones out of anyone who knew about it. Yun Qian puffed up his chest, a flattering smile spreading across his face. Your Highness, the most important thing is that you have the loudest voice these days regarding the adoption of an heir, and you cannot withstand any rumors or any trouble. Then how do I explain breaking the engagement with Miss Yun? Rest assured, Prince. Their Majesties have a plan. Yes, we'll announce that Weining, not Yuran, was the one engaged to the prince. Mother, maybe my sister can come forward to explain. Wouldn't this also harm the prince? Don't worry, Inger. Mother-in-law will tell the public that the news heard by the outside world are all lies made up by Yuran in order to steal your engagement. What's more, The princess did not name the person who was engaged in the engagement. She looked at Princess Wenxuan and said with a smile, "Princess, do you think this is the case?" Princess Wenxuan nodded. "I will also tell others that in the past engagement, I only said that she was a young lady from the Prime Minister's palace, and did not name her. It was the eldest lady who thought that she was the one who made the engagement because of her mother. That way, people will believe it. Everyone knows a royal family wouldn't pick a concubine's daughter to be the mistress. Anyone with a brain would choose a legitimate daughter." Xiao Ziheng considered it. It was acceptable, and Yun Qian's affection for Yun Weining was also a big help to him. Besides, he was quite fond of this second young lady. She was beautiful, gentle, pure, dignified, generous, and had the reputation of being the most beautiful and talented woman in the capital. As for Yun Yuran, he'd never seen her or heard anything good about her, and the rumors that are making the rounds this time were created by myself. Chapter 14. After the charming concubine became pregnant, the emperor doted on him every night. 14. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yun Yuran had a secret weapon, her super hearing. She could pick up everything within 100 miles, and it was sharp. The second she arrived at the Prime Minister's mansion, she overheard some shady plans. It made her want to tear those people apart. If she wasn't trying to maintain her good girl image, she would have stormed in and slapped some sense into them. She kept a poker face, but inside she was fuming, ready to explode. She might not be the original owner of this body, but now she's stuck with it and the old owner is scheming against her. It was frustrating to be so constrained. Why did the original owner have to be such a delicate, timid, and cowardly character? The system chimed in, trying to calm her down. "Easy, Shaoran, take it easy. You're pregnant, remember. Don't get worked up and hurt the baby." "Okay, fine." She'd suck it up. What choice did she have when she was stuck playing the innocent little wallflower? Xiao Zhenye, oblivious to her inner turmoil, held her close, all tenderness and consideration. He lifted the sedan curtain, offering a respectful salute. "Your Majesty." Seeing who it was, he gently helped her onto a couch. Ran, rest here for a bit. I'll be right back." "Okay, I'll be waiting." Xiao Zhenye ate up her every considerate and obedient word, falling for her even more. After getting out of the carriage, Xiao Zhenye stepped away from Yun Yuran, making sure she couldn't overhear. "What's the situation?" he asked. Jiang Yu reported, "Your Majesty, the secret guard just informed us that Prince Wenxuan and Princess Wenxuan switched Miss Yun for Miss Yun in the engagement to avoid scandal. Plus, they're spreading rumors that Miss Yun, out of jealousy, started the story herself." Jiang Yu was floored. He saw the whole picture now. These people had no shame. Miss Yun was clearly the victim, yet they were painting her as the villain. He suddenly understood how delicate and soft she appeared. She must have been bullied constantly. If she didn't have an iron will, they'd have driven her crazy. No wonder she was able to escape from 5 beggars with her own perseverance. This whole escape drama probably happens often in the Prime Minister's mansion. "Oh, they can't wait, can they?" Xiao Zhenye's face hardened, his eyes flashing with anger. As soon as he said this, Jiang Yu ran into the emperor's sinister eyes. A sneer appeared on his thin lips, and his eyes were like cold blades. Jiang Yu's whole body trembled as he looked at it. Jiang Yu knew that the emperor's usually gentle and talkative appearance was superficial. In fact, he was also a ruthless person with means. Also, how can an emperor with no temper govern a country well? How to control so many ministers? How to make the people of Daki live and work in peace and contentment? He is easy to talk to when he is not angry. When he gets angry, everyone will stay away. Knowing those people's plans, Xiao Zhenye really felt sorry for Yun Yuran. He re-entered the carriage and said softly, Ran, they didn't break off the engagement. They just switched the bride. They replaced me with my second sister." She was calm, as if she'd known all along. Xiao Zhenye nodded. "Yes. They're completely shameless. Not only did they switch the bride, but they're also slandering you, saying you spread those rumors because you were jealous of Miss Yunair." He pulled her onto his lap, whispering, Ran, I'm so sorry. When you go to the Prime Minister's mansion later, can I avenge you? No, let them say what they want. My reputation is already in the gutter, so it doesn't really matter, we don't need to complicate things further, revenge is a dish best served cold. I'm not exactly a gentleman, but hey, it's tough to raise a woman. Do you think I'm being cruel? Xiao Zhinya looked into her shrewd eyes, reaching out to caress her cheek. No, he said softly, she might seem delicate on the surface, but Xiao Zhinya knew that if she were truly that way, she wouldn't have survived this long. In this world, it's hard to survive when you are kind and unscheming, so even if Yun Yuran is scheming, he doesn't care, on the contrary, she is very happy, so that she can protect herself well even when she is not around her, although he firmly believed that he could protect him. People would make mistakes and horses would make mistakes. What if he was negligent and she was poisoned? What's more, she has to follow him into the harem. There are so many monsters and ghosts in the harem. If she is too kind, she will be plotted sooner or later. Yun Yuran smiled, a genuine smile this time. She held the emperor's face, her eyes serious and deep, and kissed his lips. Thank you. The emperor couldn't move his eyes away. Every time she took the initiative, he felt that Yun Yuran was breathtakingly beautiful and alluring. Her unique fragrance around him is getting stronger and stronger, and it is his favorite smell. Caught off guard, he looked into a pair of forbearing and restrained deep black eyes. Yun Yuran blinked and naughtily pressed a kiss on his lips. Xiao Zhinya felt that he couldn't bear it anymore, so he gently patted her round and elastic buttocks. The tone was a stern warning, if you behave recklessly again, I may not be able to bear it anymore and eat you regardless of the occasion. Yi doesn't know. Yi loves Ran Ran the most. Yi doesn't want to let Ran Ran be embarrassed in public. You're just taking advantage of my feelings for you. When did Ran Ran bully Yi? It was clearly Yi who was always bullying Ran Ran. Her face was full of mischief and her eyes were shining, as if the emperor was her world. Xiao Zhinya stared at the light, smiled and scratched the tip of her nose again, and said helplessly, you are the evil one to complain first. You have been seducing me and making me uncomfortable. I can't do anything to you. If you're not bullying me, what are you doing? Yun Yuran hooked her hands around the emperor's neck. Hee. Ran Ran, this is an expression of love. The system shuddered all over after listening to Yun Yuran's disgusting words. Goosebumps are coming out. Xiao Ran, can't you be more reserved? It's so disgusting and sticky. Sooner or later, you'll be sick and vomited. TCH, what do you know? I just like to be straightforward like this, and the language is simple and easy to understand. If I use some unfamiliar and difficult words, it will inevitably make people ponder and analyze them slowly. Okay. You understand, I won't disturb your sweetness. I will also go on a date to avoid being fed vomit by your dog food. Let's go, let's not hinder my performance. Listening to Yun Yuran's words of love that he expressed from time to time, Xiao Zhinya was filled with joy and treasured Yun Yuran even more in his heart. Chapter 15 After the charming concubine became pregnant, the emperor doted on him every night. 15. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Your Majesty, Jiang Yu said from outside the carriage, lowering his voice. Xiao Zhinya scooped Yun Yuran up from his lap. Ran Ran, let's head into the Prime Minister's mansion. He bent down and took her hand. Yun Yuran let him help her out of the carriage, and then let him guide her forward. Many people were watching the Prime Minister's mansion, and they had noticed the carriage parked out front for the past 15 minutes. Everyone wondered who was inside. Some peeked from the shadows, while others pretended to be just passing by. Guards stood tall on either side of the carriage, swords at their waists. Their imposing presence kept the curious onlookers at bay. Since the emperor had made an incognito visit to Qingde Temple, the carriage wasn't particularly ostentatious. As the couple emerged, those closer by saw a distinguished and handsome man lead a woman out by the hand. The woman was stunning, with bright eyes, white teeth, and beauty that could launch 1,000 ships. She looked like an ethereal being. Some people covered their mouths in disbelief. It was hard to believe such a beautiful woman existed. She seemed almost otherworldly. Some stared, eyes wide. If it weren't for the guards, they would have been glued to Yun Yuran. Others gaped, their eyes as big as saucers, filled with envy and jealousy. How could anyone be so beautiful, with such a perfect figure? Her skin was flawless, her curves generous, and her waist tiny. Xiao Zhinya frowned at the expressions of the crowd. He didn't like the way they were looking at Yun Yuran. It was too intense. Sensing his change in mood, Yun Yuran gently squeezed his hand and smiled. If it bothers you, I can wear a veil. No need, Xiao Zhinya replied, gazing back at her. Her beauty was inherent, and he shouldn't selfishly hide it just because he felt insecure. Yun Yuran was touched by Xiao Zhinya's thoughtfulness. Although he was older, he wasn't selfish. Ignoring the gawking onlookers, they walked straight into the Prime Minister's mansion. Inside, King Wenxuan and Yin Qian were exchanging the betrothal letters for Xiao Ziheng and Yin Weining. Xiao Ziheng had been watching out front. A regal and imposing man suddenly appeared in his line of sight. He was slowly approaching the main hall. A graceful woman walked beside him. A dozen guards followed the couple. The head guard was Jiang Yu, commander of the capital garrison. Xiao Ziheng recognized him immediately. The regal man leading the way had to be the emperor, Princess Wenxuan, Lin Qianru, Yun Weining, and their maids were so engrossed in the exchange of betrothal gifts, they didn't notice the commotion outside. Realizing something was wrong with Xiao Ziheng's expression, they turned to see what he was staring at. They were shocked by what they saw. King Wenxuan and the princess quickly stood up and headed outside. Yun Qian and Lin Qianru followed closely behind. Your subject and my wife pay respects to your majesty, King Wenxuan and Princess Wenxuan said with a bow. Your servants, their wives, and their maids pay respects to your majesty, Yun Qian said, leading Lin Qianru, Yun Weining, and the maids to kneel and bow. Your nephew pays respects to your majesty. Xiao Zhinya glanced at Xiao Ziheng, a faint glimmer in his deep eyes, like a bottomless well. Xiao Ziheng trembled, unnerved by the look. Brother Emperor and Princess, no need for such formality. Please, everyone, rise, Xiao Zhinya said, his face softening. It was as if what Xiao Ziheng had seen was merely an illusion. Thank you, your majesty, everyone said. Standing up, the maids scurried to pour tea and water. King Wenxuan and the princess stepped aside as Yun Qian led Xiao Zhinya to the head seat. Even though he was leading the way, Xiao Zhinya made sure to wait for Yun Yuran. A gasp rippled through the room as everyone finally noticed Yun Yuran. Xiao Ziheng stared, speechless. Sensing her discomfort, Xiao Zhinya looked at her and asked softly, "What's wrong?" Yun Yuran shook her head, signaling that she was fine. Yun Weining glared at Yun Yuran's delicate beauty, her palms clammy with jealousy. She had been stunned at first, but the more she looked at the woman, the more familiar she couldn't believe that it was Yun Yuran, the very same girl. Hadn't she disappeared? Why was she with the emperor? Xiao Ziheng continued to stare at Yun Yuran. Yun Weining cursed inwardly. That little tramp, she thought. She's back to seduce the prince, and it looks like she's even got the emperor wrapped around her finger. Lin Qianru noticed Yun Yuran as well. She tugged on Yun Weining's sleeve to warn her not to reveal her thoughts. No matter how angry Yun Weining was, with the emperor and prince present, she had to suppress her resentment. Princess Wenxuan nudged her son, who was still out of it, pinching his waist. Ouch! Xiao Ziheng yelped, snapping back to attention. His mother gave him a warning look, and he lowered his gaze, finally composed. Yun Yuran and Xiao Zhinya both felt the burning gazes, but they ignored them. Xiao Zhinya's lips curled into a subtle smile. Xiao Ziheng traded a pearl for a fish eye and threw away a watermelon for some sesame seeds. He thought. Just wait until he finds out Ran was his former fiancée. I can't wait to see him fall apart. Yun Qian hadn't recognized Yun Yuran yet. Your Majesty, he asked, puzzled, who is this empress? King Wenxuan and Xiao Ziheng wanted to know as well. They had never seen this woman before. She wasn't the daughter of any minister they knew. Everyone turned to Xiao Zhinya, waiting for an explanation. Lin Qianru and Yun Weining rolled their eyes at each other. They wanted to call Yun Qian an idiot. He can't even recognize his own daughter. How embarrassing. Before the emperor could speak, Lin Qianru rushed to Yun Yuran, her smile that of a loving mother greeting a long-lost child. Yuran, you're okay. You didn't even send word to the family. We've been worried sick. Your father's hair is turning gray from the worry. Her act was nauseating. Yun Yuran had the urge to slap her, but she was playing the part of a delicate flower. She couldn't be violent, she took a few deep breaths to calm herself. Xiao Zhinya heard her quick breathing and spoke for her. I went to Qingde Temple yesterday to consult the abbot. On the way, I encountered Miss Yun being attacked by robbers. I rescued her and asked her to accompany me to Qingde Temple. It was my mistake to forget to let her reassure her family. No, it was my fault. I didn't understand the situation, Lin Qianru said, her face full of concern. Who would dare to blame the emperor? Yun Qian was still reeling from the fact that this beautiful, graceful woman was his timid, cowardly daughter. When had she become so stunning? He had no idea. Xiao Ziheng and King Wenxuan were floored. This was the concubine he had disdained, the woman he had conspired to slander. King Wenxuan was secretly panicked. If he had known she was so beautiful, they wouldn't have been so quick to call off the engagement. His son was handsome and wealthy, and this woman was radiant and charming. Their children would have been exquisite. Chapter 16. After the charming concubine became pregnant, the emperor doted on him every night. 16. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Even though Yun Qian was fuming mad with the emperor standing right there, he didn't dare show it. Just wait until the emperor and prince leave, then he'd set that rebellious daughter straight. How dare she hide her stunning looks from him, her own father. She made him lose face in front of the emperor and princes. Xiao Zhinya gave a sardonic smile. Prime Minister, acting like you don't even recognize your own daughter. That's hard to believe. What kind of father are you anyway, so clueless about your own kids? I was starting to wonder if you were even up to the job of Prime Minister. This whole, cultivate yourself, manage your family, govern the country, and bring peace to the world, thing. Self-cultivation isn't just about skills, it's about elevating your mindset beyond the ordinary. When you have a right mind, you'll cultivate your character. When your character is cultivated, you'll set your family in order. When your family is in order, you'll govern the country. When the country is governed, there will be peace throughout the world. Your Majesty, please believe me. I've always given my all to the court, never slacking off. You can rest assured that I'll fulfill my responsibilities as Prime Minister and never let you down. Yun Qian was sweating bullets, groveling on the ground, terrified that the emperor would strip him of his position. He'd clawed his way to this position through hard work and connections. He couldn't lose it. Seeing him trembling and dripping with sweat, Xiao Zhinya said slowly, Prime Minister, you promised this yourself. I'll give you another chance. If you dare to disappoint me, you'll regret ever reaching for the Prime Minister's office. But if you do your job well, I'll reward you with more money, power, and prestige. A little stick, a little carrot, that's the way to do things around here. Yes, Your Majesty, I understand. Aside from being airless, this emperor wasn't so bad. He was decisive, true to his word, and never cheated anyone. He wasn't worried about the emperor tricking him. He never let anyone react, let alone give them a chance, to win any position he wanted. Lin Qianru and Yun Weining, seeing Yun Qian shaking, were also scared and knelt down with him. Prime Minister, please rise. Xiao Zhinya decided to let him off the hook for now. After all, Ran was caught in the middle. If one prospers, both prosper. If one suffers, both suffer. If he was condemned now, Ran couldn't escape. Ran still needed his name in the Prime Minister's palace to get ahead. Without a strong family backing, Ran would have to be careful and tolerant when entering the palace. The harem was intertwined with the former dynasty, and he couldn't deal with those bonds for the time being. Therefore, he wanted to keep the Prime Minister's mansion in order to gradually take over, so that those in the harem who wanted to bully her would have to consider the Prime Minister's mansion behind her. Yes, Your Majesty. Lin Qianru helped Yun Qian stand. After Yun Weining stood, she looked at Yun Yuran, who was standing upright, and felt intense resentment. Why was she her father's daughter? She wanted to kneel down, but Yun Yuran stood still. Why should she stand and not kneel? With a smile plastered on her face, she said softly and gracefully, Sister, you look so beautiful. When did you get so pretty? Why didn't you tell me? Yun Yuran rolled her eyes inwardly. You think I'd tell you? If the original owner wasn't so beautiful, you would go crazy with jealousy. If I had been this beautiful from the start, the original owner would have been screwed long ago, asterisk. Asterisk damn it. Star. Sister, are you going to say it? Just like yesterday, my sister concealed her appearance, but she still caused trouble and was kidnapped by robbers. If she showed her face early, I'm afraid. She deliberately left the sentence unfinished to let others guess. Xiao Zhenye really wanted to pull her into his arms and comfort her. It turned out she was having such a hard time in the Prime Minister's mansion that she didn't even dare to show her true face. Actually, I found it pretty strange. Yesterday, the robbers didn't even glance at you, they specifically went after me. I was a little suspicious. Those jerks came specifically to kidnap me. I'm also quite puzzled. I've never been out of the Prime Minister's mansion since I was a child, and I've never offended anyone. Why were those people holding on to her? That she smiled slightly and looked at Xiao Ziheng. Your Highness, tell me, who arranged those people? Xiao Ziheng felt guilty when she suddenly asked him this question. He suppressed his expression and forced a smile. I don't know either. I just came to the Prime Minister's mansion and heard people outside saying you were kidnapped by robbers. He had a feeling that Yun Yuran knew about his plan with Yun Weining. Oh. I thought you and the prince knew about it. I almost said it was the two of them who did it. Yun Weining was also startled and managed to maintain the smile on her face. Sister, you're joking. Prince Xiao and I aren't that close. How could we know why you were kidnapped? Really? I feel like I must have been in the way of some people, and those people deliberately hired someone to kidnap me. Miss Yun, maybe you're just too beautiful and haven't been out much. Those people thought you were defenseless, so they coveted your beauty and targeted you. Xiao Ziheng made excuses to defend himself, fearing that the kidnapping blame would fall on him. I hope so. Yun Yuran pretended to be disappointed and sighed slightly. The emperor felt distressed and didn't care about the others for a moment. Ran. Yun Yuran's eyes were slightly red, and she looked at the emperor with determination on her face. Your Majesty, I'm fine. Xiao Zhenye knew that while she was pretending to be strong, she was actually hurting inside. Don't worry, I'll definitely get you justice and make whoever harmed you pay the price. Thank you, Your Majesty. A genuine smile appeared on her troubled face. The two of them were talking and seemed to have forgotten everyone else. When Xiao Zhenye called her Ran, Yin Qian's eyebrows shot up, *Ran. That sounds pretty close. The emperor must have fallen for that rebellious girl. He quietly looked at Yun Yuran. She was chatting and laughing with the emperor without restraint. He really underestimated this rebellious girl. She just broke off the engagement with Prince Wenxuan and immediately hooked up with the emperor. Judging by the emperor's attitude, he must be thinking about spoiling her rotten. Xiao Ziheng, on the other hand, looked like he'd eaten something nasty and couldn't let go. He was a little bitter that such a beautiful woman should have belonged to him, but now she was snatched away. The person who stole her was his uncle, the emperor. If it were someone else, he might have taken her back, but he didn't have that power with the emperor. Yun Weining cursed Yun Yuran countless times since she laid eyes on her. Her palms were deeply marked, and several fingernails were broken off. Lin Qianru hadn't expected Yun Yuran to be so lucky, losing Prince Xiao only to hook up with an even more powerful emperor, but she wasn't envious or jealous at all. Yun Yuran, so what if you hook up with the emperor? The emperor is known as the heirless emperor, and he's so old. When the emperor kicks the bucket, she'll be in trouble. By then, her daughter would be a high-ranking queen, and Yun Yuran would just be *tch begging for mercy and living by looking at their faces. At that time, it'd be up to them, mother and daughter, to order her around however they wanted. Just like before, if you tell her to go east, she won't dare to go west. If you tell her to go north, she won't dare go south. If you tell her to drink cold water, she will never dare to drink hot water. Conf. She's just a concubine. Does she really think she can reach heaven? A sparrow is a sparrow and will never become a phoenix in its lifetime. Chapter 17. After the charming concubine became pregnant, the emperor doted on him every night. 17. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiao Zhinya looked calmly at King Wenxuan, asking pointedly, "Why did you bring the princess to the Prime Minister's mansion today?" King Wenxuan feigned ignorance of the emperor's true intentions. "Your Majesty, we're here to exchange betrothal gifts for Ziheng and Miss Yun." "Oh really? I thought Ziheng was engaged to the Miss Yun." "What's changed?" Hearing the emperor's words, Yun Qian felt his heart pounding and broke into a cold sweat. "Your Majesty, those are just rumors. The prince is actually engaged to my second daughter, Weining, not my eldest, Yuran." He quickly corrected the narrative, observing the interaction between the emperor and Yun Yuran. Yun Qian didn't dare speak ill of her as he had before. "Oh." The emperor drew out the word, his dark eyes sweeping the room. No one could quite read his thoughts. Some, like Lin Qianru and Yun Weining, trembled under his gaze. The emperor turned back to King Wenxuan. "So, brother, have you finished your business here?" "Yes, we exchanged the documents before you arrived, Your Majesty." "And you're satisfied with this match? Need any help from me?" "Your Majesty, we are perfectly satisfied. Perhaps you could grant the couple an imperial decree." The emperor glanced at Yun Yuran, silently asking her opinion. Yun Yuran nodded subtly, thinking to herself, "This old fox is good at playing people. All right, I'll issue a decree tomorrow to formalize the marriage between the prince and Miss Yun." The emperor felt that a woman like Yun Weining would bring bad luck to any house she entered. Since they asked for it, he could hardly refuse. "Now that your affairs are settled, let's discuss my business with Miss Yun." Yun Qian's heart skipped a beat. Here it comes. He'd neglected this daughter in the past, even allowing his wife and Weining to mistreat her. He'd never given her justice, nor a chance to explain herself, even when he knew it wasn't her fault. Now that she was about to rise to power, would she seek revenge? A pillow talk could ruin someone. Considering the emperor's attitude, she was sure to become a favored concubine. Yun Qian was both remorseful and terrified. He tried to appear calm, but inside he was a mess. Despite being a powerful prime minister, angering the emperor was never a good idea. If the king wants you dead, you're dead, unless you rebel, which wasn't an option. Then it occurred to him that Yun Yuran might need the prime minister's backing. In the palace, a solid family connection was essential. Considering the advantages, Yun Qian began to relax. As long as Yun Yuran needed the prime minister's mansion to secure her position, he'd be safe for now. As I mentioned before, I met Miss Yun on the way to Qingde Temple yesterday, and she accompanied me there. I found her quite agreeable. I initially dismissed any thoughts because I believed she was the prince's fiancée, but now that you claim the prince is engaged to your other daughter, I see no obstacle. Therefore, I intend to bring her into the palace." "What are your thoughts, Prime Minister?" He deliberately announced his attraction to Yun Yuran. If she wasn't married, she was fair game, simple and direct. No beating around the bush. A man should be bold. If he wanted her, he wouldn't hide it. "I am honored that your Majesty finds my daughter worthy." "It's a blessing." Everything came from the emperor. He dared not disagree. "Then, since the Prime Minister has no objections, I'll have the decree issued tomorrow. Furthermore, I don't want to hear any negative comments about Miss Yun. If anyone ignores this advice, the consequences won't be pleasant." "Understood." He was warning them to stop their games. They used to slander Yun Yuran at will. Now she was the emperor's woman. Any further nonsense would be met with severe punishment. Xiao Zhinya turned to Lu De. "Arrange for an announcement about the changed engagement, and explain why Miss Yun disappeared yesterday." "Yes, Your Majesty." King Wenxuan addressed the emperor. "Your Majesty, I have matters to attend to at home. I'll take my leave." Xiao Zhinya waved him off, uninterested. As King Wenxuan left with the princess and Xiao Ziheng, Yun Qian felt a wave of unease. He was now alone to face the emperor's pressure. He glanced at Lin Qianru, who seemed unsure what to do. "Why don't you go prepare a meal? His Majesty and Yuran must be hungry after their journey from Qingde Temple." "Yes, sir." Lin Qianru bowed to the emperor and dragged Yun Weining away, not wanting to give Yun Weining an opportunity to say anything. Lin Qianru was afraid Yun Weining would say something terrible to Yun Yuran. Based on His Majesty's attitude, the emperor must be interested in her. now that she has caught the emperor's eye, it would be foolish for her to provoke her, Lin Qianru thought, let her be proud first. Once in the back hall, Yun Weining shook off Lin Qianru's hand, her face aggrieved. Mother, not seeing her daughter's distress, Lin Qianru felt sympathy. Inger, I know you're upset, but we need to avoid a conflict with her for now, she's the emperor's woman now. Upsetting her would be bad for us, you're engaged to Prince Xiao. Once Xiao Ziheng becomes crown prince, we can plot our revenge. Once you become empress, she'll be nothing more than a concubine. Yun Weining barely suppressed her anger. Yes, mother is right. My priority is to win Prince Xiao's heart, but what about the concubines in Prince Xiao's household? Lin Qianru responded, Prince Xiao's concubines. What else can you do but accept it? Every noble household has concubines, even your father has his share of women, and I've learned to live with it. Mother. Yun Weining sobbed, upset by the thought of competing with so many women. Chapter 18 After the charming concubine became pregnant, the emperor doted on him every night. 18. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Mom, Yun Weining choked out, a knot forming in her stomach at the thought of all those women vying for the prince's attention. What's with the waterworks? Don't go losing it over every little thing. Now that I'm here to guide you, what'll happen when you're married into the palace and on your own? Lin Qianru snapped. Yun Weining felt a mix of fear and sadness after her mother's reprimand. Her mother was right. If she didn't toughen up and eventually marry the prince, she'd be eaten alive without her mother around. Don't worry, Mom. I know I messed up. She dabbed at the corners of her eyes with her handkerchief. Xiao Zhinya turned to Yun Qian, saying, Prime Minister, I hear your estate is quite picturesque. Why don't you have Miss Yun show me around? Your Majesty, allow me to escort you. He just wanted the emperor gone. Being around him always made him uneasy, like they say, a guilty conscience needs no accuser. His corruption had him jumpy in the emperor's presence. Once out of the main hall, Yun Yuran asked, Hey, everything settled? Why aren't you heading back to the palace? Xiao Zhinya looked directly at Yun Yuran, his gaze intense, voice deep and husky. I just want to spend more time with you, Ran. Yun Yuran didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How many faces did this guy have? He was always so gentle, so attentive, so patient with her, making her feel like a real jerk. The system's robotic voice chimed in, If you're not a jerk, what are you? You're pretending to like him, to care. You're leading him on, slowly winning his affection. Sounds like a jerk move to me. Yun Yuran shot back, who knows if he's really into me? What if he's just after one thing and saying all this to get me into the palace? So what if he is? If you weren't attractive, he wouldn't bother wasting his time. Flattery takes effort, you know. He's the emperor. Unless he's obsessed, you think he'd waste his time playing games? Ha! Good point. Didn't think you had it in you, machine. Of course. Who do you think I am? The system sounded smug. Don't get a big head. Yun Yuran thought the system was almost funny, like a real person. Ignoring the system, Yun Yuran gave the emperor a look of adoration. Hey. The simple word was dripping with affection. Love's not about being together every second. It's about a connection that lasts a lifetime. If they weren't in the Prime Minister's residence, Xiao Zhinya would have pulled her into a tight embrace, wanting to hold her forever. The system rolled its digital eyes. Here she goes again, it thought, even it was getting fooled by the loving gaze. If it didn't know Yun Yuran's true thoughts, it might think she'd actually fallen for the guy. Aware of the eyes on them, the emperor resisted the urge and said, Ran, I'll head back before dark. Okay, whatever you want, Yi. They strolled around the estate for a while before Xiao Zhinya said, Ran, take me to your place. I want to see where you grew up. Yun Yuran hesitated. How could she possibly take the emperor there? From the original owner's memories, her place was a dump, spiderwebs everywhere except in the small room she lived in. She was on her own, with no servants to help out. She spent all her time either trying to please others or being humiliated by Yun Weining and her daughter. How could she ever find time to clean? Xiao Zhenye noticed her hesitation. You don't want to, Ran. It's not that, Yi, she said, lowering her head, just, don't laugh, okay? Why would I laugh? You'll see, she said, finally looking up, and led him toward her little corner of the world. The truth was, she was terrified he'd think she lived in a pigsty. They walked further and further away, until even Luda was starting to get concerned. Even an unloved daughter of a prime minister shouldn't be living like this, right? Xiao Zhenye's brow furrowed deeper with each step. It was so far from the main house. How much further? He asked. Just a 15-minute walk, she replied. Yun Yuran hadn't realized just how far away the original owner's place was. Finally, a small yard came into view. The fence was broken, the walls crumbling, and the weeds grew taller than a person. This wasn't fit for a lady. It looked more like a derelict barn. When Yun Yuran pushed open the gate, it gave way with a loud crash. Bang! The wooden doors fell to the ground. Xiao Zhenye quickly pulled Yun Yuran back, not paying attention to Luda. Luda, who had no time to react, felt a rush of air and found himself covered in dust, wondering what had just happened. Another foot closer and those doors would have flattened him. Seeing Luda standing there dazed, covered in dirt, Yun Yuran couldn't help but giggle. Ha 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 ha. A string of laughter, as light as wind chimes, filled the air. Lu. Eunuch Lu, you look so funny. She was laughing so hard she didn't care about appearances. She thought that if the ground was black soil, Eunuch Lu would have turned into an African. Seeing Yun Yuran laughing so uninhibitedly, Xiao Zhenye slowly relaxed. It had been close. A split second slower and both he and Yun Yuran would have been hit. While the injuries may not be fatal, they certainly wouldn't be minor. Xiao Zhenye was seething inside, but he didn't want to scare Yun Yuran. He suppressed his anger and asked calmly, "This is your home? Where you've lived since you were a child?" Yun Yuran, flustered, touched the tip of her nose. Yeah. Huh, the scenery's pretty great, right? Better than all the fancy stuff in the main house, wouldn't you say? Stunning, he replied dryly. Stunningly deserted, that is, Yun Yuran quickly added, it's nature's beauty. Can't compare it to anything man-made. Luda had to give it to Yun Yuran. She could still find something positive to say about this hovel. Come on, let me show you around inside. They stepped over the fallen doors and followed Yun Yuran into the yard. The sight that greeted Xiao Zhenye made his eyes turn cold, like thousand-year-old ice that even fire couldn't melt. The yard was just as overgrown as the area outside. Come on in, let me get you some water, she said, not even offering tea. She knew the original owner didn't have tea, just boiled water. Inside, a rickety table with a missing leg was propped up with a stick, a stool, presumably where Yun Yuran usually sat. A wooden bed, just big enough for one person. The bed was old, but at least it was clean. It was a simple place, but it had a warm, clean feeling. Yun Yuran pulled out 2 large bowls and a kettle, and handed bowls of water to Xiao Zhenye and Luda. Just plain water, sorry. Hope you don't mind. Looking around at the dilapidated room, Luda was close to tears. He couldn't believe that a daughter of the Prime Minister's palace was being treated like this. Unless Miss Yun cleaned this place up, it wouldn't be any different from a beggar's den. Chapter 19. After the charming concubine became pregnant, the emperor doted on him every night. 19. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing Yun Yuran smile, Xiao Zhenye figured she was just putting on a brave face. He pulled her close, his voice full of concern. Ran, if you have to wait any longer, if you suffer another night in that place, I'm sending someone to bring you to the palace first thing tomorrow. You'll never have to go back to that dump. Holding him close, listening to his heartbeat, she simply said, okay. Luda quietly set the bowl he was holding on the table, then slipped out of the room. Waiting outside, after a comfortable moment together, the hour grew late. Yun Yuran finally said, hey, you should head back. Alright, anything for you. Xiao Zhenye took her small, pale hand and kissed her lips. He couldn't help but wonder how she managed to be so radiant and captivating, living in such a rundown place. but then he reasoned that anyone who could survive and protect herself in such a harsh environment must have a few tricks up her sleeve, a secret, perhaps, but Xiao Zhenye had no desire to pry into Yun Yuren's secrets. What's wrong with having a secret or two? Everyone has something they'd rather keep hidden. As long as her secret didn't pose a threat to Daki or to him, there was no reason to dig for it and risk ruining things. The more the emperor thought about Yun Yuran, the less he worried about her. Even the most powerful man can lose his head when he meets the woman of his dreams. After all, there's a reason why they say that a hero can be undone by beauty. Ran, I'll have Jiang Yu stay behind to protect you, and he'll escort you to the palace tomorrow. I can't come to greet you myself. I'm so sorry. Please don't be mad, okay? Hey, you have your responsibilities and duties. Why would I be angry? I'm proud of you. My man, Yun Yuren's man, is the most respected and capable man in Daki. What more could I want? A person should be happy with what they have and not get greedy. Don't covet what you shouldn't. What's meant to be will be, and what isn't, you can't force. Yun Yuran lavished him with compliments. You're amazing, Ran. So understanding. Hee, that's what I think too. She winked playfully, to face life's difficulties with such a pure spirit. What a resilient soul. At the Prime Minister's mansion gate, Xiao Zhenye told the Prime Minister, I've left Jiang Yu here to protect Miss Yun. See that he's treated well. He was warning Yun Qian not to mistreat Yun Yuran, ensuring her safety by keeping one of his men nearby. Yun Qian, seeing Xiao Zhenye emerge from the backyard with a grim expression, knew the emperor had visited Yun Yuran. Xiao Zhenye's opening line was a cutting remark. I didn't realize Prime Minister Yun, with all his wealth and status, couldn't afford to keep his daughter in decent lodgings. Her place is worse than a beggar's shack. What have you been doing with your salary all these years? Using it for something shady. Yun Qian's heart skipped a beat. Did the emperor find out about his misdeeds? No, if he knew, they would have arrested him already. He must be imagining things. After a moment, Yun Qian protested, Your Majesty, I swear I'm loyal. I have no second thoughts. How could I do anything shameful? Xiao Zhenye dropped his icy stare, instantly switching to a gentle tone with a smile. Relax, Prime Minister. I was just teasing you. The Prime Minister's house is full of people who depend on you. What can you do with that little salary? But you really should pay attention to what's going on in your backyard. You need to take charge, or these servants will start deceiving you, and your own daughter will end up like a beggar without you even knowing. Yes, I will keep your Majesty's words in mind. Xiao Zhenye turned to Yun Yuran. Go back and rest. It's been a long day. Yun Yuran nodded. All right, your Majesty should get some rest as well. Xiao Zhenye boarded his carriage, surrounded by guards, and headed back to the palace. Yun Yuran watched the emperor's carriage disappear around the corner, then turned back toward the Prime Minister's mansion. Jiang Yu followed close behind. He was ordered to protect Yun Yuran, so he couldn't stray too far. Commander Jiang, Yun Qian called out, seeing him following Yun Yuran. What is it, Prime Minister? Jiang Yu kept walking, showing no interest in chatting with Yun Qian. Nothing, I just wanted to thank Commander Jiang for leaving to protect my daughter. His official rank was higher than Jiang Yu's, so he didn't need to be subservient, but Jiang Yu was the emperor's confidant, so he had to treat him respectfully. You're too kind, Prime Minister. It's my duty. Besides, His Majesty ordered me to protect Miss Yun. I have to follow orders and escort her into the palace safely. Otherwise, I'll be in serious trouble if anything goes wrong. Jiang Yu really didn't want to waste time with Yun Qian, but he was the Prime Minister, and he had to show some respect. Thank you for your kindness, Prime Minister. Seeing Jiang Yu's reluctance to talk but still having to entertain him, Yun Qian felt a surge of satisfaction. Don't be so formal, Commander. We're all serving His Majesty. Naturally, we should help each other out. Inside the Prime Minister's mansion, arrangements were made for Jiang Yu and Yun Yuran, while Yun Qian and Lin Qianru sat down to strategize. From now on, you need to be nicer to that rebellious girl and not upset her, he told his wife. Now that the emperor's interested in her, you and Weining need to stop causing trouble. Even a rabbit will bite when cornered. If you offend her, she might whisper in His Majesty's ear and ruin Prince Zhao's chances. Then Weining won't have a shot at becoming queen. Lin Qianru understood perfectly, though he hadn't said it outright. He was worried about jeopardizing their daughter's chances of becoming queen. Don't worry, I know what to do. Yun Qian patted her hand. With you taking care of things at home, I can focus on other matters. Back in the imperial study, Xiao Zhenye returned to the palace and immediately drafted 2 imperial edicts, one announcing the marriage, and the other bestowing a title upon Yun Yuran. Since Yun Yuran was only just entering the palace, giving her too high a status right away could create problems. So, in addition to being a concubine, Xiao Zhenye made her a second-rank noble concubine. Later that night, after Xiao Zhenye finished reviewing the memorial submitted by the ministers, he prepared for bed. Lying on the lavishly decorated dragon bed, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing. It was a sensation he'd never experienced before. Thinking of Yun Yuran, Xiao Zhenye placed his hand over his heart. He really missed her. They say a day apart feels like 3 autumns, but to him, it felt like many autumns had passed. Chapter 20. After the charming concubine became pregnant, the emperor doted on him every night. 20. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As morning broke, the first rays of sunlight pierced through the mist. That's when Lu Da's apprentice, Li Zheng, rushed to the Prime Minister's mansion, clutching 2 imperial edicts. By order of His Majesty, he announced. The Emperor has decreed. We are pleased to learn that Prime Minister Yun Qian's concubine, Yun Yuran, possesses a quiet virtue, extraordinary beauty, a gentle nature, and impeccable manners. Therefore, Yun Yuran is hereby granted the title of noble concubine, 2nd rank. Respect this. Li Zheng carefully placed the edict in Yun Yuran's hands, fawning, congratulations, noble concubine. Congratulations. Thank you, eunuch, Yun Yuran replied. You're too kind, Your Majesty. Li Zheng grinned. His master had warned him extensively before he left the palace. This Miss Yun, he was told, was a woman of great fortune. He was not to be arrogant but to serve her with utmost care. Yun Qian nodded to the butler, who presented Li Zheng with a purse. Li Zheng hefted it, estimating its weight before slipping it into his sleeve with a smile. Then he summoned another attendant, who brought forward a second edict. By order of His Majesty, he proclaimed. The Emperor has decreed. Yun Qian's legitimate daughter, Yun Weining, is graceful, generous, gentle, honest, and of exceptional beauty. Prince Wenxuan's Xiao Ziheng has suffered from ill health for many years. It is time he takes a bride, and it is fitting that he choose a virtuous woman. Yun Weining's reputation precedes her. She and Xiao Ziheng are a match made in heaven. Therefore, Yun Weining is betrothed to Xiao Ziheng as imperial concubine. All wedding arrangements shall be overseen jointly by the Ministry of Rites and the Astronomical Observatory. Respect this. Second Miss Yun, receive the edict, Li Zheng instructed, holding it out for her to take. His demeanor was noticeably different from when he presented the edict to Yun Yuran. He'd practically bowed double, placing Yun Yuran's edict gently in her hands. But with Yun Weining, he stood straight, waiting for her to raise her hands before handing it over. Prime Minister, all of you may rise. Yun Qian stood and straightened his robes. Congratulations, Prime Minister. One daughter a concubine, and another about to be. You are a fortunate man, Li Zheng declared. You flatter me, eunuch, Yun Qian replied, signaling the butler to present another purse. The butler handed it to Li Zheng. Eunuch Li, please come inside for tea, Yun Qian offered respectfully. Thank you, but my duty calls me to Prince Wenxuan's mansion. I won't delay your family greetings. The sedan chair awaits outside. After the noble concubine is prepared, she is to proceed to the palace. His Majesty awaits her arrival. Understood, eunuch Li, Yun Yuran said with a smile. The emperor was clearly impatient, sending an envoy to hurry her along so early. Yun Weinian clenched her fists so hard her nails left marks in her palms. She seethed at Li Zheng's attitude. Yun Yuran, that witch, didn't deserve such deference. It was a travesty. Just wait until she was empress. The first thing she would do was have this ruthless, dead eunuch executed. What did he have to be so proud of? You'd think he was the emperor's right-hand man. After Li Zheng departed, Yun Yuran turned to the prime minister. Father, I bid you farewell. Please take care of yourself. In the future, I won't be around. I hope you won't do anything foolish that could harm others or yourself. Even as the emperor's concubine, I won't be able to protect you if you err. Remember that. The prime minister brushed her off. Go, don't keep His Majesty waiting. Life in the palace is nothing like home. Don't cause trouble. Think before you act. Don't be as willful as you are here. Yes, father. I will remember your words and never disappoint you. Yun Yuran was exhausted. Playing the role of a loving daughter with someone she despised was truly awful. But for appearance's sake, she had to endure her disgust and continue acting. She turned to Lin Qianru. Mother, I will no longer be here to care for you both. I hope my brother will show you filial piety in my stead. Please look after father and remind him not to overwork himself. If his health fails, the price will be too high. Yun Qian's face tightened. That rebellious woman was infuriating. She was babbling before leaving, saying unnecessary and even cursed words. What an ungrateful wretch. Lin Qianru gently took Yun Yuran's hand. Yuran, don't worry. I'll take good care of your father, so you can serve His Majesty in the palace and bring honor to the emperor. The last sentence dripped with insincerity. Everyone in Daki knew how difficult it was for the emperor to produce an heir. Ha! I'll be sure to give birth to children for His Majesty and bring prosperity to the royal family. Good, then I can rest assured. She really wanted to shake Yun Yuran off, but with so many eyes watching, she had to release her hand gently and appear concerned. Yun Yuran was now a noble concubine, a member of the royal family. If she dared to shame her in public, she might be accused of treason. After feigning concern for a while, Yun Yuran said, Father, Mother, I must go. Looking at Yun Weinian, she added, Sister, please take care of father and mother for me. Yun Weinian glared at Yun Yuran, wishing she could strangle her, but with so many people around, she suppressed her hatred, put on a virtuous face, and replied with a smile, Don't worry, sister. I'll take good care of father and mother. You focus on serving His Majesty in the palace. Thank you, sister. I appreciate your hard work, Yun Yuran said with a demure smile that was so captivating many couldn't look away. It was as if thousands of pear trees were blooming overnight in her heart. She was a vision of youth and beauty, a fairy who had stepped out of a painting. We're family. It's only natural for me to care for father and mother. It's no trouble at all. Okay, then I'll be going now. Take care. With that, she turned and stepped into the sedan chair without looking back. As the curtain fell, Yun Yuran finally breathed a sigh of relief. Acting with those people was exhausting and such a waste of energy. Xiao Ran, aren't you tired of pretending with the emperor? The system asked. Actually, no. Even though I'm acting with the emperor, I don't know why, but I don't feel tired at all, and I don't think it's a waste of energy. On the contrary, I quite like it. Oh. That's incredible. You must have feelings for the old emperor, right?